This is the back half of the farm. I like to call it the Pine Barrens. As you can see, all the white pines and storage tanks. And of course, Goofus down there barking at nothing. And you'll see where I had some of the paddocks for the pigs. You can see the driveway going back here. We got more snow last night, and it's very light, still on the trees. I've always enjoyed when the pine trees get covered with the snow like that and the wind doesn't blow it off just yet. It's kind of like the way ice storms look, but you don't really want to have an ice storm. We'll go down this driveway a little bit more, and we'll go down the hill towards the Homestead, where the actual valley is. At least I call it the valley. It's only one side of the valley, but it's still part of it. With a very large hemlock, hence the name. And you can see the top of the hemlock right there. We're going to go up here. Now the back of the property's a couple 100 feet down that way, and it goes off to the left over that way a little bit, and then up towards the road. And then the other side's just over there on the corner over there, and it goes up towards the road too. Here we go downhill. Well, almost. There we go. Now we're going towards the bottom into the valley, and you can see there's the hemlock there. If I move over this way, get that tree out of the way. There we go. Well, looks like it's snowing again. Some pretty big snowflakes. I can't tell if it's snowing or just coming off the trees. It's possibly just coming off the trees. Well, there's the hemlock there. You can kind of see right down in there is actually not that tree there, but down in there is actually the bottom of the hemlock and goes all the way up to the top there. It's very cool. Don't have too many hemlocks around here, at least not in my area. Oh, there's a deer running. I'll probably see more of those here. There's usually a bunch laying down in the valley down here. See, this is a part of the driveway was already here, and then I had logging done on this side a couple years ago, and they put in that side there, which curves around and meets back up with the road that goes up the hill that was already here. The logging did help clean out there. There's that deer there. Oh, right there. How you doing? All right. Well, we aren't gonna bother him, so yeah, he doesn't know that. You gonna chase it? Yeah. Oh, there's another one right there. Look, he was hiding behind that brush pile. Or it. Not sure if it's a doe or not. Or a buck. It's probably a doe. We get a lot of does around here. It's up on top of the valley there. See, the property line's just over that hillside there, and it kind of curves downwards at an angle. But you can see he's kind of, yeah, they're finally taking off the rest of the way. And I didn't want to disturb them, but they'll come back later, or they'll find another spot in another part of the woods somewhere. They're kind of resourceful like that. We'll just kind of finish going down the driveway. It's a little bit harder to do because they did tear it up a little bit when they were driving their equipment back here doing the logging. And there's snow on the ground, of course. So I apologize if the camera's all shaky. It's my cell phone, so. And you can see where I set up a little canopy for my base camp. And of course the snow crushed it, basically. I figured it would when we got that first good amount of snow. It was like 6 to 8 inches. It was late at night and I wasn't going to walk back here. I knew if I didn't, I might wake up to something like this. And I did. But, oh well. I should have sturdied it up beforehand. It was only meant to be temporary, but I doubt I'll be able to use it at all. So you can see I got a pile of logs there, mostly maple, covered up by some plastic. Some logs behind it, there are some sumac, a lot of staghorn sumac around here. I don't really like burning it until it's really dry, and I'll burn it outside, but it's not really the best when it's green. And sometimes it's not really good if it's dry either. So I'm keeping it separate. And you can see that there's a lot of fallen trees, even not including some of the tops left over from when they did logging. But there's a lot of fallen trees and timber down that I'll be able to cut up for firewood this year, which I've already started on, obviously, because I had to cut that to get down in here because they just left it lay across the old driveway. So, but then here's the hemlock. Yeah. Nice. I'm going to end up cutting out that maple there. It's just a little too close to the hemlock and some of those other smaller trees to kind of clear it out some. And I don't mind having some trees real close depending on how they're leaning. But if I'm going to build a cabin down here, specifically in this kind of area right in here, it's a little bit flattish, give or take. Clear out some more of that brush there. There's a little maple and oak and more of the sumac and possibly tree of heaven or empress tree or something like that. And then you can see the hillside there, which I'm going to try and utilize for a cellar. Dig into the side of it. Maybe even a passive solar collector or a passive solar greenhouse. Possibly on the other side of it, because once the sun comes up over that hill in the wintertime, it's okay. It gets a little bit of sunlight in this area until it reaches there. And then obviously because of the height of the hemlock, it blocks it for a decent amount of hours, And then once it gets past it, that area over there gets sunlight. That's only in the wintertime. In the summertime, the sun's up real high, almost all the way up over here. So it wouldn't have any problem at all. But we're going to go under the hemlock here. I had a little fire pit stuff underneath here. Nothing major, just a little cook fire. But you're gonna see, you know, it's a big hemlock around there, all the way up. And that's just amazing right there. Just look at that. I could pitch a tent and sleep underneath here every night if I could. Obviously, if it was warmer, I would just sleep outside, but with it being this cold, I doubt I'd want to be sleeping under the stars. That's a tree there that obviously got cut and got stuck. I think it fell and then somebody's tried to cut it, and obviously it's stuck up in there. So here in spring, I'm going to work on getting that out of there before it falls on something or someone without me knowing. I'd rather knock it down myself. So you can see here's a little bit of a scan there from where we were. Kind of the area right in there where I want to build the log cabin, because I figure you can't really build too much behind on the other side of this hemlock. The log cabin would be fine, it would be perfect. And you can kind of see the area there where there's more brush and stuff that needs cleaned up, and the area going up that way. And the property line's actually not too far over on the other side of this hemlock. I'll eventually have to get it surveyed, because there's only a marker up on that hill, and then there's a little bit more of a valley, and then there's a marker all the way up by the road. So in reality, there's no real markers that I can find anyways down through here. So it's kind of a guess. But I just don't do anything over that way for right now, except for, you know, clean up some of the brush and stuff left over from the logging. Sorry if I'm moving the camera too fast. And then you can see they used to do mud runs and dirt bikes and stuff back here. And I mean, a long time ago, before we moved out here. And I've been out here for almost 30 years now. Obviously, there's tires and stuff that I'm going to have to collect and get rid of when the next time they have one of those scrap tire collection things that they have around here. If it wasn't all torn up, I would use it. You know, rammed earth tires can be great for retaining walls and foundations, and people have built entire earth-ship homes where the back and side walls are all made of rammed earth tires. It's a way to recycle them. They'll be there forever. So, but it takes a lot of work. You can kind of see, looking up that way, there's the neighbor's house over that way, right there. And then, like I said, there's a marker right up, I want to say right, I think that's right in there somewhere. But then there's the driveway going up. It's almost a 15-minute long video, so I may make another one once we get up that way. Kind of keep this a little short. Nope. Gotta also pay attention to where I'm stepping too. See, I've been working on cleaning some of this up. You can't really tell because of the snow, but this little pathway that I'm walking on now, which was a part, obviously, where they had cut out originally, where they must have done, you know, mud runs and dirt bikes and whatnot. This was all blocked by brush and whatnot before, so I had to clean it up so that I could drive the 6x4 down through here. And obviously I've been walking it now because the 6x4 I got to buy a part for, so, which I'll just worry about that come springtime. Doesn't do real well down in here anyways. the snow's just too deep in some spots, and I'd have to get chains for it probably and a winch. It does okay up on the flat spots though. You can kind of see this little area here, it does get a little mushy. There's a lot of leaves, obviously. A lot of water collects down in here, but ends up going that way. You can see too there's part of that little driveway that they cut into the hillside. And I'm probably going to try and utilize from this hillside back that way towards where the cabin will be. I might try and make a 20-foot long passive solar greenhouse built into the hillside there. It'll get plenty of sunlight even in the wintertime, and it will even be close enough it can help heat my cabin too. So you can kind of see the hill. There's a little bit of a valley there, and there's actually a little ditch area down inside there too, and then you can see the hillside there. That hill, right up in there is actually where the paddocked area is that I showed you before, where I had the pigs. That's up there. And then you can see there's another little valley cut in that way that kind of goes up towards where the house is. And then you can see the driveway, and you can see Goofus. Yeah, she's not named after any character. She's named after her behavior and personality, because she's goofy as heck. So about 15 years old right now. And still runs around like a little puppy. So I'm going to cut this off here now. And I'll walk up the hillside once we get up towards the hill, which I'll walk over this way and kind of show. So I'd like to make it to where the driveway will come straight and kind of, instead of coming over curving this way, you know, it'd make more sense to kind of go over and kind of go straight that way. And I'd like to I don't like cutting down a bunch of these trees, but kind of take this hillside out and kind of flatten it a little bit and kind of grade it down over that way would probably be a better idea. This little area down in there is a lot lower, and I'd kind of like to make a retaining pond, because obviously there's going to be a lot of water coming off of these hillsides, plus any water collected off the greenhouse or cabin could always go into there. So step in more ruts and holes and stuff I can't see because of the snow, and I'm not paying attention. So you can kind of see the driveway kind of goes off. If I'm coming down this way, it kind of curves off to the left, and I'd much rather it just kind of continue on straight that way. So right up through there. So there's still some more brush, and I'd hate to see it, but here, this is a river birch here. You can see there's a bunch of them down through here. I know my parents planted a couple up front towards up towards the road as decorative. They are a decorative style tree. That's what people will plant them for anyways. They look nice. They do. But you can see there's practically a whole grove, a lot of them on the other side, on the other next door neighbor's property too. But what's great about it is all the birch bark. There's more down here than 20 people would ever need, probably. I mean, just look at the size of this one here. There's a grapevine on there too. This is probably one that I won't ever cut down. It's just too big, you know what I mean? It takes trees a long time to get that size. And although some of the maples that they did take out of here were very large, I mean, I want to say 3-4 feet wide almost. About 4 or 5 of them, almost that big. But they were starting to rot away, and they were gonna fall and whatnot. So I figured, you know, get some money for it and go from there. But you can see, nice eastern woodland here in Ohio. A lot of different kinds of trees. But all right, I'm gonna walk up the hill here. I'll kind of show you up that way.